And Italy, the reigning champions, about to get their defence underway here in Dortmund. And the first thing we should say is their supporters are heavily outnumbered in the stadium. There is red everywhere you look. The north stand is entirely made up of Albanian supporters, and the wall away to the other end of the stadium is mixed, but there are pockets of Italian blue shirts around the stadium, but they are swamped by the Albanian red. And Dean Ashton, we talked about Albania's excellent home record. Tonight, this will feel like a home game for them.
And it's going to be huge for them, because this is some task for this Albanian team to qualify for the European Championships and be put in a group with Spain, Croatia and the Italians. They're going to need all the help they can get, but they are a terrific side. Do not underestimate this Albanian team. Plenty of experience, and especially plenty of Serie A experience. They will know so many of these Italian players.
A reminder of the two teams again. Italy have 5 players who started the final against England at Wembley 3 years ago. It is Donnarumma in goal, Di Lorenzo, Bastoni, Calafiori and Di Marco the back 4. It's only Calafiore's third appearance. Jorginho and Barella at the base of midfield, with Fratesi, Pellegrini and Chiesa behind Scamacca in attack. For Albania, Silvino has a tried and trusted 4-5-1 formation. Strakosha is in goal, the Brentford goalkeeper. Eric Berisha, the number 1, is injured. The back 4 is Husey, Jimsiti the captain, Ayeti and Mitai. 2 in midfield will be wide, Asani and Seferi. Inside them, the talented Aslani, who plays for Inter, Ramadani and Barami, with Broja of Chelsea leading their attack. And as you say, Dean, 5 members of the Albanian team play in Serie A, and in particular a player we should look out for, Christian Aslani. Only 22 years of age. He's made a massive impact with Inter on their way to the Serie A title, and he is a player Italy know could do them real damage.
Yes, I mean, he's got that quality on the ball, and I think that's going to be key. They're going to have to defend for long parts of the game, of course they are, but it's going to be players like Aslani that's going to have that bravery to realise, actually, we've got good enough players to play through Italy, to try and really test them when we have the ball. And they'll be very, very good on the break. They're used to that. They used it very, very well in qualification, especially against the Czech Republic, and I'm sure they'll do it again in this tournament.
And of a German tournament, we have a German referee, Felix Weyer, very experienced official in European football. Bastian Dankert is the VAR. And in Dortmund, Italy, the reigning champions, get their title defence underway here on TalkSport against an Albanian team in only their second major tournament. But they and their supporters have travelled in numbers and with real confidence. Italy in the blue, and they are defending the goal away to our right. They make a mistake in the opening seconds, and with 23 seconds played, Albania have the lead. What an incredible start. Nedim Barami, a shocking error by Di Marco inside the penalty area, and Barami, relegated with Sassuolo in Italy this season, has delighted the thousands and thousands of Albanian supporters. 22 seconds played, and already the holders are a goal down to Albania.
Oh, can you believe that? What a start for the Albanians. Barami in particular, so sly, just hiding behind Barella, waiting for that throw-in to go towards Bastoni, who's the player that likes to play out at the back for Italy. Di Marco throws it in, Barami sneaks around the back and just takes a nice little touch with the outside of his right foot, tight angle. And so often, if you strike it hard enough and accurate enough towards the near post top corner, keepers find it so difficult. Donnarumma barely moved, flashed into the roof of the net.
Well, that is astonishing. 22 seconds played. It is Italy 0, Albania 1, and the roof has come off the stadium in Dortmund. The Albanian fans outnumbering the Italians maybe 7 or 8 to 1, and they created so much noise when that goal went in. And the Italians, who qualified in rather uncertain fashion behind England, have made the worst possible start. Now they look for the equaliser themselves, but the shot from Pellegrini from inside the penalty area, a good position, is wide, and it was the Albanians who made a mistake deep inside their own half. Mitai giving possession up, but Pellegrini unable to hit the target after Scamacca found him with a back heel.
Real good chances actually for Italy. Chiesa down the right hand side, brilliant wing play, just cut the ball back to Scamacca. Beautiful little Cruyff flick touch in towards Pellegrini, who was actually falling back. That's why he couldn't quite get the curl on the shot towards the near post and just put it wide. But a good response from Italy, but it must have been something they looked at, Albania. The way they set that up from the throw-in, it's almost like they knew that was going to happen, waited for it. DeMarco's throw was weak, but what a finish from Barami. So early in the game, to take the touch and finish the way he did, outstanding.
And now Broja has been penalised on the far side for a challenge on Bastoni, and Italy here need to try and get some sort of foothold in the game. Already a goal down. They've beaten Albania in all 4 previous meetings, but this is a very different Albanian team underneath the management of Silvino and Pablo Zabaleta, who were briefly teammates together at Manchester City. What a job they have done, and what a start their team has made here.
Just such a bright start, and what it does, it gives the Albanians such confidence straight away, a real boost rather than struggling early on to take the lead, to have something to hold on to already. And you can see right into their defensive position as soon as Italy have the ball. Albania have done this so well in qualification, sit into a 5-4-1 at times with just Broja up the top end of the pitch, and then they'll leave the wide areas free for the Italians to have that space.
And that is the quickest ever goal at a European Championships, the only goal scored inside the opening minute of a game, and Albania are looking to break again on the far side with Seferi. DeMarco though gets there first, and Di Lorenzo has been shoved over by Seferi, and it will be a free kick. But already we're seeing Albania sitting deep, and they're happy to hit that ball long because they've got the weapons, they've got the pace on the counter-attack.
Well, actually, Armando Broja being fit, I think is actually really important, because he gives them that extra pace at the top end of the pitch that when they break could cause Italy problems. But the one thing I would say about every Italian side is it's the reason why they look so cool when they step into every stadium. Their outfit, the way they look, it's an aura. I think pressure almost doesn't seem to affect them the way it seems to affect so many other nations, and we'll see.
They're under pressure here. DeMarco tries to cross in from this near side. 5 minutes played on Talk Sport in Group B of Euro 2024. It is Italy 0, Albania 1. Albania, who did not concede a goal at home during qualification, winning their group for the first time in their history. And this will feel like a home game, as we've been saying, with thousands and thousands of their supporters who've made the journey to Dortmund. Of course, a number of those will be already resident in Germany, and they defend well on the near side. And Asani is able to gather and clear it long downfield. And Yassir Asani is another player to look out for, scored 3 times in qualification. He plays his club football for Gwangju in South Korea, as Italy look to come forward again on the far side. Chiesa brings the ball down well, fires it in towards the near post, headed away though by Jim Siti, who was looking to get very close to his Atalanta teammate Scamacca. And of course they will know each other's games inside out. Pellegrini now 25 yards from goal for Italy. The blue shirts flooding forward with 6 minutes played, and Italy already a goal down. Now Jorginho infield towards Pellegrini again, and Italy having to be patient here. The ball in towards the near post, looking for Fratesi, but again it's covered. But Albania have given the ball away. Chiesa looks to thread the eye of the needle and play it wide towards the far side, the right, but the flag is up for offside, and Albania breathe again.
Yeah, take the goal out of it. Italy have started really well, nice and bright, been really sharp with their passing, the movement, causing Albania some issues. Chiesa's been superb so far. He's He's that difference. He's that player, that one player that can get the ball and dribble past people and open things up. Fratesi it was just trying to get on the end of the reverse pass from Chiesa. DiMarco in particular, I have to say, he's the joker card for Italy. He will just go and roam on the left and drift inside. Di Lorenzo will tuck in as a third centre-back.
Now Broja, though, coming forward for Albania. Pacey run from him, wide to Asani. He can hit them from long range. He comes in field and he goes for goal again. And it takes a deflection. And in the end, it's headed behind by Di Lorenzo at the far post. And the first quarter of the game goes to Albania.
Just a little bit slow. Calafiori in getting out towards Broja. Nice little shimmy from him to get away, and a ball out towards Asani. You're right, he won't waste any time. He gets onto that left foot, looks to strike.
He scored a goal against Poland, which must have been from 35 yards out in qualification, wide on the right-hand side, that it absolutely flew in like a bullet.
Yeah, well, they outscored their XG in qualification because of that, because they were scoring some outrageous goals, and they'll take those opportunities from the edge of the area.
Aslani will take the corner kick on the far side, and then swing it towards the near post, flicked on and cleared away by Jorginho, and it will be another corner. I think that was a planned move there, because it was driven in with real pace low and flicked on at the near post by Ramadani, and it was a desperate clearance away from Jorginho.
Yeah, he was just trying to flick that with the outside of his right foot and lift it towards the back post, or miss it completely and it run through the legs.
Whipped in again, but headed away at the near post by Di Lorenzo. 8.5 minutes played. Albania leading by a goal to nil. Mitai finding Aslani again down the Albanian left. It's a good run towards the byline. Cuts it back. Jim Citi misses his kick. Well placed, the central defender, but dare we say it was a central defender's finish.
Oh, I mean, it was brilliant work down the left-hand side to cut it back towards Jim Citi. Ended up looking like they dragged a supporter out the stands to have an attempt. Completely slices it back towards where it came, but just showing that with that energy, and they have got good players that'll, if Italy give them the opportunity, they'll try and play through, they'll try and play quickly, and then if not, they'll sit into a nice shape.
Now Calafiori with the long flowing hair, only 22 years of age. He was a key part of Bologna's qualification for the Champions League next season. Italy now have it again on this near side. It's wide towards DiMarco, looking to get forward with the thinning peroxide fats. Reminds me of Dean Ashton back in the day. Now DiMarco again, but the cross in is blocked at the near post by Hussein behind for a corner.
His looks better than mine. That's a worry.
But Italy beginning to find their feet.
Yeah, they are, and that's the thing. They won't panic, even though it's been a hectic start. They won't panic. They'll still look to play. They'll get it in towards Jorginho's feet and let him just dictate the tempo. They know they've got some terrific players as well.
23 seconds, the official timing of that goal from Nedim Barami for Albania. The corner's played short. Pellegrini high to the far post, and the header is in, and it's a brilliant response from Italy. Bastoni with the equaliser. 10 minutes played, and the reigning champions have steadied themselves. It is Italy 1, Albania 1.
Simply not good enough defensively to allow Alessandro Bastoni, all 6 foot plus of him, to just be free at the back post. He even doesn't do a lot, he just drifts in, but they just shift it from the corner. DiMarco plays it in towards Pellegrini, and he just sends it in, and it just glides to the back post from the inside of his foot. Bastoni's completely free. He's never going to miss from 3 yards out. The goalkeeper, Strakosha, never even looked like he was going to come out and punch. Bastoni just powers the header straight past him to level things up.
And Italy bailed out by one of their central defenders, one of 4 interplayers in the team, Alessandro Bastoni. Only his second international goal, and the player who came through all of the age groups for Italy comes up with a much needed goal for them after such a nightmare start. But with 11 minutes played, it is Italy 1, Albania 1 here on TalkSport. Already today we have brought you a good win for the Swiss in Group A, Scotland's group. 3-1 against Hungary. Switzerland play Scotland next And that's on Wednesday. We'll have that game live for you on TalkSport. And in this group, Spain beating Croatia by 3 goals to nil. All the goals in the first half. And Croatia may believe that 1 or 2 things went against them in the game. But they are under pressure in their next match, which will be against Albania. And on the evidence of what we've seen so far, a fairly small sample, Albania are here to play, not just make up the numbers.
No, but when you look back at that goal, Nige, I mean, you know, you've got yourself in front, a brilliant start, and then you gift such an easy goal to the Italians. Not a difficult set play. Bastoni doesn't do anything magnificent. It's not particularly worked in a magical manner. It's just a decent ball to the back post. Bastoni's not picked up, and he just heads in from 3 yards. We're so disappointed with themselves.
Now Bastoni plays it short towards Barella, who was a doubt for the game with a muscle injury, didn't train for a couple of days this week. Di Lorenzo wide towards Chiesa, but it was overhit straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Albania. And Spalletti, the veteran Italian coach, paces around his technical area. He becomes Italy's oldest coach at a European Championships today. 65 years and 100 days, 3 days older than Giovanni Trapattoni was at Euro 2004. And Spalletti inherited a fairly unpromising situation. Roberto Mancini departing for Saudi Arabia, but he has reshaped the squad very quickly. 5 of the starters from his first match back in September against North Macedonia did not even make the squad, including the captain that day, Ciro Immobile.
Yeah, he's really made sure that he's seen as many players and also as many systems as he can. You know, he was able to change things at times at Napoli, but especially with this national team, he's just been able to try a back 3, a back 4, gone with a back 4 this evening. And nowadays you can look at the formations and go, that's the way they play, but when you actually see it, DiMarco's playing as a centre forward at times, and Di Lorenzo drops in to make 3 defenders. It's now a very fluid Italian team. It's not the rigid Italian teams you'd have seen in the past with just the flair, but the organisation. There's a rotation about this Italian side.
And you're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. 14 minutes played. Italy 1, Albania 1. Don't forget tomorrow, 8 o'clock on TalkSport, England's first game against Serbia in Group C. The last of 3 games will bring you tomorrow. Poland against Netherlands on TalkSport at 2 o'clock. Slovenia-Denmark, the other game in England's group, will be over on TalkSport 2 at 5. And the build-up for the England game begins with Jeff Stelling at 4 o'clock before Adrian Durham and the team take over live from the stadium in Gelsenkirchen at 7. As Di Lorenzo plays an excellent cross into the penalty area. Jim Seedy at full stretch to deny Scamacca a tap in to make it 2-1 to Italy.
Scamacca's grinding his teeth because he knows DiMarco just needs to put some more pace on this towards the back post, and he's tapping in. DiMarco once again just diving in behind Husai with that darting run. Just needed a better delivery really for Scamacca, who could do something in the way that he looked at DiMarco.
Barella infield towards Jorginho. And Di Lorenzo on the edge of the penalty area. Scamacca looks to be the link man. In the end, his shot squirts across the penalty area, and it's fired in superbly by Barella from outside the penalty area. And Italy have turned things around within 15 minutes. Their fans on the wall celebrating Dortmund. What a finish that was from Barella. And it sped in like a bullet from way outside the penalty area. And after Albania made the best possible start, Italy now lead 2-1.
I told you, they're too cool, these Italians, to feel pressure. And they've just gone about their business, played the way that they know they can. Scamacca's deflected shot, and it's actually Asani who's doing the work as a defender. Isn't in a great position. Poor clearance to Barella. And I tell you what, the way he guides this Barella from the edge of the area, comes to him first time, he just uses the outside of his right foot on the volley just to caress it into the corner. Husai has to have a look at himself. He ducks out of the way. He ducks out of the way of that. But Barella, take nothing away, the technique is absolutely superb to cut across the ball.
Well, there is a goal check on VAR taking place. Bastian Dankert is the VAR official. Felix Via, the referee, is just having words with one or two Italians.
Yeah, I think it might just be DeMarco was behind Asani and it might have been a foul.
Well, the goal's been given.
Yeah, Barella celebrating. See what it means to him. What a finish. Just the way everyone else was frantic in the area. It came to him, ice cool. Outside of the right foot, curling inside the post. Stunning.
His 10th international goal, the inter-midfielder. And his presence in the team, along with Jorginho, just allows the more extravagant talents for Italy to really flourish, and also the fullbacks to get forward. We're seeing that now as it's played wide towards the far side for Scamacca, but this time the ball is overhit as Fratesi makes a run into the penalty area, and it goes behind for a goal kick. But if you're Albania, Dean, what do you do now? You have the dream start, and now reality is very quickly bitten.
Well, you've got to try and stay calm. You've got to try and look up at the clock and go, well, look, there's 18 minutes gone. There's no need to be rushing. But they haven't been able to get into their own game as yet. Obviously, there was the flash of the goal and a couple of corners. But other than that, they've got to realise they are going to have to defend. They're going to have to be as a unit, which they have been. That's been their biggest strength, has been defensively being able to work as a team against, at times, better opposition to get the results to qualify. And just keep harnessing that. It's so easy to think, oh, right, now we've got to chase it, and you step out of position.
Pellegrini now on this near side, but the challenge comes in from the Lazio defender, Husai. And as we were saying, he was hit well by Barella, but if you're an international defender at the European Championships, you don't duck. Italy coming forward again with Di Lorenzo. Wide towards Chiesa, who was such a key player as a real youngster at the European Championships 3 years ago. Now wide towards Pellegrini again. He's able to control and goes back towards Calafiori. And the Italian fans, despite being heavily outnumbered, find their voices inside the stadium before they're drowned out by Albanian boos. Now Pellegrini again, finding Barella. Barella works it square to Jorginho. And Di Lorenzo, and Italy here being patient. Chiesa manages to wriggle away from a challenge on the far side, but Seferi did well to get back at him at the expense of a corner.
He's been brilliant, Chiesa. Absolutely brilliant. Bright as a button so far. No hesitation. Gets the ball, looks to take on his man. Does things quickly. If he plays it inside, he's then looking to get him behind with his pace. And then DeMarco on the other side, they're not sure what to do because they've got Asani and Seferi coming back to defend. They don't look natural in those positions against such quality.
20 minutes played. Italy 2, Albania 1 already here on TalkSport. Day 2 of the European Championships. Every single game live on the TalkSport network. The corner is deep. Strakosha loses out to Calafiori, who maybe should have headed the ball in, but Albania, with their goal scorer Barami, now have the opportunity to break wide towards their left-hand side, and Broja though was taken out, and that should be a yellow card. It was a cynical challenge from Pellegrini, who pats the referee on his shoulder, knew exactly what he was doing, and takes one for the team.
Pellegrini's face says it all. He knew as soon as Broja got that touch away from him, he wasn't going to let him past. Broja actually tried to stay on his feet the best he could because he knew it was a good break. Pellegrini had done his job.
Pellegrini, the Roman midfielder, the first booked in this game, and Albania, who have barely been inside the Italian half since the equaliser, are now behind, and they have the free kick, and it's wide to this near side, and Husai, and infield to Ayeti, one of the central defenders. But they're finding it very difficult to create. Their goal from Barami, the quickest ever at a European Championships, 23 seconds, came from an Italian error right at the start of the game. But since then they found it difficult to create. But they will just sit in. They will play their own way. Very well drilled under Slovenia and Zabaleta. And here is Asani now, down the right-hand side. Back towards Ramadani, the deepest lying midfielder. And at times he has watched the blue shirts whizzing past him with a lack of support so far in the game.
It's the first time Italy have kind of sat off. And we might see a little bit of what Albania are about in terms of both full-backs, Husai and Mitai as well. Get really, really high and allow the two wide players to tuck in alongside Borja and look to get in behind the Italian defence and combine.
Ramadani plays it forward again and quickly receives it back. He's got Husai offering support on this near side. He comes in field, and with that goal from Nicola Barella, he now becomes Italy's leading scorer in the squad with only 10 goals, which tells you a good deal about their goal-scoring problems over the last couple of years. 11 of the squad also have 8 caps or fewer, so there is not a huge amount of depth in terms of experience beyond this team.
No, and even when you look at club goals this season, they're way down the list of these top nations in terms of players in the squads that have scored plenty of club goals. But again, I think that just makes you think, oh, Italy might not be a big presence in this tournament. They will be. They've got some terrific players.
Well, they played the opening game 3 years ago when they beat Turkey 3-0 in Rome, and they did have the advantage in their group of playing every single game at home and not traipsing back into Baku during the competition like every other team in the group. But they were the class act the longer the tournament went on. And Jorginho looks to find Barella on this near side, but again the pass was overhit. Jorginho with a hand of apology, and it's a goal kick to Albania. 24 minutes played here on TalkSport. If you've just joined us, where have you been? Albania scoring the quickest ever goal in the European Championships. Barami after 23 seconds. But Italy have quickly responded with 2 goals in 4 minutes from Bastoni and Barella. Now a high ball over the top again. Borja will chase into the penalty area, but Bastoni cushioning the header back towards Donnarumma.
He'll already realise, Borja, that he has got the beating of the two centre-backs. Pace, he's got it. So he just knows if he keeps making those runs, one of them, he might just get away. And once he's away, they're not going to catch him. So he's just got to try and be patient and keep making those runs.
Now Jorginho once again 10 yards inside the Albanian half. 25 minutes played on TalkSport. Italy leading by 2-1, having come from behind. Calafiori now. Both central defenders given a licence to get forward because Albania are so deep without the ball. Now Di Lorenzo down the right, infield towards Jorginho again. It's all very congested in the midfield area with Albania's 5 players strung across the middle. Calafiori finding space and Jorginho to the right. Now Di Lorenzo. With Italy here forcing Albania into a good deal of chasing, but they will be a really fit side in the tournament. Silvino has said in the build-up that if his players don't run, they don't play. And Ramadani has won it back. Wide towards Seferi with the shock of blonde hair on the far side, the Albanian left.
Yeah. Good job he wasn't my manager. I've enjoyed watching so far Barella and Pellegrini's movement to free up DiMarco. They took it in turns, Pellegrini and Barella, to make darting runs, to take away Albanian defenders, to free up DiMarco to make those clever runs or to stay out wide. It's really well worked from those 2 players in particular to free up DiMarco.
Husai with a ball down the line for Asani on this near side, the Albanian right. Calafiori though comes across. Excellent challenge. DiMarco infield towards Barella inside the Italian penalty area, but he knew he had time, and Bastoni will quickly spread it wide to Chiesa on the right hand side. And Italy here are controlling the game now. 2-1 up with 26 minutes played. Pellegrini on the Italian left. Infield again to Jorginho. And Albania here are just happy to try and soak it up once again and stay in the game at this stage.
Yeah, giving huge respect now to the Italians who have got that confidence flowing. Interchanging of positions has been excellent. The control they've had now. You just don't want to sit too deep, Albania.
Scooped forward by Jorginho into the penalty area, and Scamacca, his clubmate Jumsiti, follows him outside the penalty area down the right. Scamacca finding support. 19 goals for him at all competitions this season, but only one international goal in his 16 appearances so far. Now Jorginho finding Scamacca again. Fratesi on the edge of the penalty area. And Italy are racking up the passes here, but they are finding it very difficult to break Albania down. The equalising goal coming from a set piece, and the second one from some broken play after a Scamacca missed kick inside the penalty area.
But I think this is the way you do have to play against a team that sit deep, is to move the ball quickly, switch the ball when you can, move yourselves out of the natural positions. Lovely from Calafiori.
Calafiori now on the edge of the penalty area, finding Di Lorenzo. Now Chiesa on the right. He's the danger man. He cuts in field, finding Jorginho and Barella. And it's Calafiori again who is almost acting as the playmaker, the central defender at the heart of midfield at times. But that's what he did for Bologna for so much of the season.
Yeah, him and Bastoni, when they have the opportunity, they know they've got to step in to create the extra player.
Now Jorginho, clipped forward towards the edge of the area, but it's quickly cut out by Mitai. And now Seferi on the far side, but sliding in was Di Lorenzo. And it will be a throw into Albania. And for the first time in a European Championship match, two Inter players have scored in the same game for Italy. On this occasion, Bastoni and Barella, on the side who were the dominant champions in Serie A, already making an impact at the European Championships. Here is the Juventus player. Chiesa now, down the right, comes in field again. And the ball in towards the near post is blocked, but he's regathered possession and found Calafiori.
They're having to work really, really hard at the moment, Albania, because Italy, in the slickness of their passing and moving the Albanians around, you can see there's a little bit of tiredness. I mean, look, there's only 30 minutes gone, but constantly having to move your positions and shuffle across and organise and communicate. It takes a lot of concentration to do that, and they've done it reasonably well, I've got to say, considering.
Half an hour played. Italy 2. Albania 1. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now. And the Albanian midfield, who was so key in their qualification, players like Aslani and Ramadani, are just having to cover here and get back. They can't influence the game at all. Now Di Lorenzo, wide towards Chiesa again. Seferi does have a problem here as Chiesa wriggles away from him. Seferi tries to bring him down with a rugby tackle. It's in towards Scamacca at the far post. It was an acrobatic effort in the end from Pellegrini, but it's cleared away, and DiMarco drives across into the body of Asani on this near side, and it will be a throw into Italy.
Oh, he's not enjoying his evening, is he, Seferi? There, in the end, he just tries to rugby tackle, just grabs Chiesa's leg as he was sliding past him, and then that ball across, and Pellegrini's gone for the spectacular overhead kick at the far post, and just a little nudge from the defender put pay to that.
DiMarco now fighting Barella, and I think he was offside when he received the ball. He was, and Albania will have a free kick. 31 minutes played. Victories already today for Switzerland and Spain. And this is such a good group, Group B. Spain, Croatia, Italy and Albania.
Tough. Very, very tough to call. And pretty sure there'll be some twists and turns in the group.
Well, Albania have Croatia next in Hamburg. And I don't think the Albanian fans will have the bulk of the support necessarily there, judging on the numbers of Croatian supporters in Berlin today for their game against Spain. But if you lose, I mean, a long way to go in this game. Albania may not lose. There's so much pressure on that second game, isn't there?
There is. Look, I don't think there is pressure on Albania. They've been so unlucky with the draw because of how it's fallen. You know, to top your qualification group and end up with Croatia, Spain and Italy feels very, very harsh indeed. But because of the Italians' qualification campaign, they found themselves in this group as well. Albania have just got to realise that they've got to respect these sides. They've got to sit and defend and work incredibly hard and wait for those small opportunities and just hope that you can defend and keep the Italians out.
There's no doubt Albania qualified much more impressively than the Italians, who were fairly limp and overcame Ukraine on the head-to-head record in the end after a very nervy 0-0 draw in Leverkusen. Albania winning their group, losing only one game. 32 minutes played, Italy 2, Albania 1, where it really matters in Dortmund here tonight. Now Chiesa down the right, infield towards Fratesi, who scored both goals in that pivotal victory against Ukraine in the qualifiers. Scamacca finding Fratesi now, he dinks it over the goalkeeper, it hits the near post. Almost 3-1 to Italy. Chiesa tries to deliver the cross and he nutmegs Jim Citi. Manages to play the cross in, but it's overhit. Chiesa has now gone down inside the penalty area, but before that, Fratesi almost got a third for Italy.
Oh, it's brilliant play. First of all, they win the ball back nice and sharp after losing it. Ball in towards Scamacca, doesn't even look, just reverse passes it through the defender's legs, in towards Fratesi, who tries the little dink over the goalkeeper from such a short distance. I just wonder whether Strakosha gets a little touch as it goes up and over the top of him. I think he might, because Fratesi does really well just to try and deceive the Albanian goalkeeper by lifting it over the top when really he could have just side-footed this past Strakosha. I think the keeper does make a really, really good save.
Well, what an important save there from the Brentford number 2, Albania's number 1 here tonight. But Chiesa is down injured inside the penalty area. He was caught late in the aftermath of that. He delivered the cross in, and then it was a very late challenge on him. And there'll be concerns here for Italy, because without Chiesa, they don't really have that magic in the wide areas going forward from a more authentic attacking play.
No, he's been absolutely terrific so far in this game. And I was actually thinking, if the England players are watching the game, that is how you go about trying to break down a low block, is when you get it out to those players. They have to be really dynamic, really direct to try and open things up. It can't then just be passed out to Chiesa, he turns round and just lazily lays it back to the fullback. He hasn't once, has he? He's just got it every time and gone, right, this is me, taking on his defender, causing problems. And once he's done that, he's dragged another defender across, played it in, and they've created a few chances because of it.
And Chiesa looks to be okay. He'll be back on the far side very shortly. I have to say, I am not having the official Italian suit. It looks brilliant from the front, a light blue suit, very stylishly cut, and on the back it's got Italia in massive blue letters on the back of it. I mean, it would be like you going into a nightclub with Ashton on the back of your suit.
That definitely wouldn't work.
Although, having seen that, I could imagine you doing that, to be honest. But anyway, the Albanians out in their official suits before kick-off, and
they had a right good go. Their suits look sharp.
They do, don't they?
No socks and those cool trainers. But you're not going to outdo the Italians. I'm sorry.
Well, from the front at least. Anyway, Italy coming forward again. 35 minutes played. Italy 2, Albania 1. In Group B, Euro 2024, Spain already with points on the board. And it will be Italy against Spain next. And there'll be so much relief in the Spanish camp to have got the win in early on before they face another side who will be considered one of the contenders. But Italy's laboured performance in qualification means that No one's really talking about them as potential winners, but that's probably at this stage how they like it.
Very much so. Like I said, they've got a very experienced manager, successful manager, and they've got good play, and they've got some players that have come in form. It's not like they've got players that are out of form. You've got the Inter players who have been terrific. Scamacca's had a great end to the season, Fratesi as well. Calafiore's had a super season. And actually, it's interesting that Bastoni's having to play a slightly different role, more central than he would be used to at Inter.
He'd like to be on the left, I think. Calafiore now coming forward down the left for Italy, right towards Di Marco, and Bastoni again. Calafiore.
That's Calafiore and Bastoni combining on the left wing, the two centre backs
inside the opponent's half.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, Spalletti, of course, produced an incredible team with Napoli to run away to win Serie A last season. He was due to be on a sabbatical. He left Napoli to go on a sabbatical, and within a couple of months Mancini had resigned and he was the Italian coach. I don't think Napoli were too happy about that, but that's the way things go. And he tried so many players during the end of the qualification, just about got the job done without the playoffs, and of course Italy hate the playoffs. They've missed out on 2 successive World Cups due to those. And here they are at a major tournament once again, 7 minutes before half-time, leading Albania by 2 goals to 1, having fallen behind to the quickest ever goal at a European Championships.
Yeah, it's been after the first minute, it's been a tough half for Albania. Italy have totally dominated. I mean, 38 plus minutes in, and they've had almost 3 times as many passes.
Scamacca with a flick now, looking to release the support. Pellegrini, a low ball in from Di Marco on the left-hand side, and Jimsiti gets there first to hammer the ball to safety. Then a shrug of the shoulders from the Albanian captain, because once again they are being completely overrun in midfield.
Yeah, because the centre-backs are stepping out and creating that extra 1 or 2 players, it means then further forward they're even more outnumbered because of the Italian midfielders getting forwards. Barella and Pellegrini. Di Marco was in there as well. He just needed to lift that to the back post, Di Marco, rather than fire that low.
Di Lorenzo, who was Spalletti's captain during the title success at Napoli, delivers a high ball into the penalty area. Pellegrini nods it down. It drops for Scamacca, and it's blocked at the near post by Strakosha. And Scamacca almost put the Italians on easy street there before half-time.
Lovely combination. Pellegrini nodding it down towards Scamacca. He took a really good touch because it was difficult the way it came to him. There was no way he was going to lift it. Went for power right into the shins of Strakosha.
Well, the Brentford goalkeeper has made 2 key saves here to keep Albania afloat in this game before half-time.
He did brilliantly to make the angle so difficult for Scamacca. He could have stayed on his line, he didn't. He was out nice and quick, made sure that if Scamacca was going to score, he would have had to have lifted it.
Corner deep in towards Calafiore, headed away though well at the near post by Ayeti. Ambrosia heads it forward now, looking for Asani. We have barely mentioned Broja because he's barely been anywhere near the ball. But that's not really his fault.
No, and look, they've not had much of the ball. I would put that down to Italy being very good. And this is a slight change as well. They don't just sit into a defensive shape anymore, the Italians. They'll look to press man for man at times. I think that's why Fratesi is certainly in the side, because he'll go up alongside Scamacca. Then they'll go and press you man for man and win the ball back.
4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Italy 2, Albania 1. Don't forget, following this game, there is a big night of boxing coming up at Selhurst Park, live on Talk Sport. The undercard is currently underway over on Talk Sport 2. And there are 4 minutes to play here as Albania look to come forward again with Aslani. Jimsiti, hiding Barami, and for the first time we see Mitai forward down the left-hand side. Now Broja, and Albania really have done well to keep the scoreline down to 2-1 as we head towards half-time, and I think it's imperative for them it doesn't get any worse.
No. And can they gain some confidence with the ball? Almost from our tactical view, they actually look really good in terms of those fullbacks being really, really high and opening up the space for the midfielders and the wide players.
It was almost played forward to Hussein by Seferi on this near side, but the link-up didn't quite come off and Italy have it back. And Donnarumma, apart from kicking the ball out of the net in the opening minute, has had nothing to do with the Italian goalkeeper.
No, it's been a very calm performance considering the start of the game from the Italians. There wasn't the panic. They've controlled the game. They've flooded areas when they've needed to play their way through the Albanian defence. And really, they probably should have had another goal.
Well, Albania's last shot was that shanked effort from Jim Siti in the 9th minute. There have been 7 shots since, all from the Italians, and 2 of those have gone in.
But I would expect that. And even as an Albanian player, I would expect that. You're hoping that your keeper helps you out, or you can defend those situations better. But can we have a bit more of a threat when we have the ball?
Well, Slovenia biting his nails on the edge of the technical area. Former Arsenal and Manchester City fullback, of course, had great success with Barcelona as well, as Seferi has been bowled over on this near side by Bastoni, and it will be a free kick for Albania as we head towards half-time, and there is a moment of calm in the game after what's been such a dramatically frenetic first half.
Well, it's a lovely touch from Seferi. First time we've seen him in those attacking areas. Most of the time I've seen him sliding on his backside as Chiesa cuts past him.
Free kick for Albania. Launched high into the penalty area. Jim Siti at the far post, nods it down for Asani. He comes infield onto the left foot and he hits it well, but it's just over the top.
Yeah, just used Jim Siti as a guide and then cut inside DeMarco. Wasn't sure whether he'd play it back towards Jim Siti. No hesitation, looking to curl that with pace and power into that far corner. A good 10 yards over though.
But that really is his game. He will always look to get a shot away. As Donnarumma tries to play the ball out very quickly, 2 Albanian players are right on his toes inside the penalty area. That's clearly something that Silvino is keen for his team to try and work on, to try and press right from the front and stop the ball coming through as easily as it has been.
What they tend to do is they will initially press, and as soon as if that press hasn't worked, then they drop. It's a little bit like Marco Silva's Fulham side. They have 3 or 4 seconds of pressure. If they don't get it, they then retreat into their defensive positions.
And of course, Armando Broja was on loan at Fulham from Chelsea this season, and we are into a minimum of 3 more minutes in a first half, which is really whizzed by. It's Bastoni who scored the equaliser for Italy. Looks to bring the ball forward again. Jorginho gathers and goes back towards Bastoni to his right over the halfway line. Chiesa back to full fitness, demanding the ball in the wide area, but Italy just happy to take their time here, and they know they have the beating of Albania in the wide areas. And Jorginho once again back towards Calafiori, and of course Albania scoring in the 23rd second. I don't think that was in their game plan, was it? And in many ways it sends their game plan out of the window.
And I'm not sure they were probably very concentrated after that. You know, they allowed Italy right back into it. In fact, they nearly let them score straight away.
Italy coming forward again. Chiesa first time crossing. Pellegrini arriving behind Scamacca with a free header which he puts wide, and that's another great chance for Italy to go 2 goals clear.
Mixing it up, aren't they? The Italians, Chiesa in particular. This time, didn't even wait. Ball was played out to him by Fratesi. First time left-footed cross. It misses Scamacca. I don't think Pellegrini can believe that it has. And it's hit him on the shoulder as he's darting in behind the big centre-forward. Scamacca's missed it. He's hit Pellegrini's shoulder. He just wasn't ready for it.
We will see what England do tomorrow, but it looks a very simple game when you just get the ball out of your feet and get the ball in, doesn't it?
It is, and they've mixed it up so well, the Italians. When you're playing against a blocked defence, you have to come up with different scenarios to test that defence, and they've done it brilliantly, the Italians. They've either overloaded certain areas, they've had runners off the ball. Chiesa's mixed it up, whether he's dribbled or there where he's played it first time. Just keeps the defence on their toes and mixes things up to try and draw them out of their positions.
Don't forget, England against Serbia, 8 o'clock tomorrow night here on TalkSport with Adrian Durham and our England team, Jim Proudfoot, Stuart Pearce and Faker Others. And we'll be building up to that game all day here on TalkSport around our commentary of Poland against Netherlands at 2 o'clock and Slovenia against Denmark at 5 will be over on TalkSport 2 as we tick towards the end of 3 minutes of added time here. Italy coming forward again with Fratesi on the far side, but it's cleared away by Jim Siti. Bastin Danka with a blast on the whistle, and what a first half we have had in Dortmund. Nedim Barami with the quickest ever goal in a European Championships, giving Albania the highest of flying starts after 23 seconds, but Italy regrouped and they were quickly level thanks to a far post header from Alessandro Bastoni, and it was his inter-teammate Nicolo Barella who hammered in the goal to give Italy the lead after 16 minutes. There should have been more since. Thomas Strakosha with a couple of excellent saves in the Albanian goal. Davide Fratesi has also hit the post, and at half-time it is Italy 2, Albania 1. Thank you, Danny, and it's Italy who are about to get the second half underway, leading here by 2 goals to 1, defending the wall away to our left-hand side, and although their supporters are outnumbered ridiculously in the stadium, they will be very happy with what they've seen so far, with Italy responding from the quickest ever goal in the European Championships to fall a goal down after 23 seconds to lead 2-1 and be the dominant side in the first half. Italy, in their famous blue shirts, get the second half underway. Albania, in red and black, have work to do, but I think they'll be happy to just sit in and stay in the game for as long as possible and then maybe see what happens in the closing stages if they're still close enough to the Italians to make an impact.
Very difficult to say actually we'll come out of our shell and look to press high and maybe commit, and then you get done with a third and a fourth. I think they will, like you've just said, probably sit in, but they've got to be braver on the ball and when they do have the opportunity to get players forward to help the forward line.
Broja now does well to hold the ball up. He's now got support down the Albanian right-hand side. On the far side, back towards Ramadani, who was their quarterback at the heart of midfield, but barely saw the ball in the first half. Now the captain, Jim Siti, wide to the left, and Mitai. And Mitai goes all the way back to the goal scorer Barami, and he in turn can only find Jim Siti again just outside his own penalty area. A reminder of the two teams once again. Italy, Donnarumma in goal, Di Lorenzo, Bastoni, Calafiori and Di Marco the back four, Jorginho and Barella holding in midfield, Fratesi, Pellegrini and Chiesa behind Scamacca in attack. The Albanian team, Strakosha in goal, Husai, Jim Siti, Ayeti and Mitai the back four, Aslani, Ramadani and Barami in central midfield, with Asani, Broja and Safari in attack. Fratesi now for Italy, down the right hand side, has support from Di Lorenzo, and it's all the way back to Bastoni, who scored their equalising goal after Albania led for 10 minutes in the game and did have opportunities to extend their lead, but since Barella's goal it has been one-way Azzurri traffic.
And I just wonder whether Asani and Seferi can push a little higher and take a bit more of a risk in terms of Di Lorenzo and DiMarco being 1v1 with their alternate fullbacks.
Now Fratesi again, who scored 3 times during the qualification. Calafiori on towards Barella, and Barella lifts it forward looking for Fratesi, headed away though by Jimsiti. It drops to Scamacca, who hits it with power. It may have struck his teammate Fratesi, and it was goal back.
He'll be saying, get out of the way, man. Struck it brilliantly, didn't he, Scamacca? And just laughing with his teammate Fratesi, who is saying, well, there's too much power on it, how do you expect me to get out of the way? And actually it was going to go wide anyway.
3 minutes played in the second half here on Talk Sport. Italy 2, Albania 1, on a day when Switzerland beat Hungary by 3-1, and Spain dispatched Croatia 3-0. And as we were hearing during half-time, England against Namibia is already underway at the World T20. Now 11 overs aside, and England have already lost a wicket. They are 2 for 1 in the second over. A high ball into the penalty area for Italy. A dramatic effort at the far post from DiMarco, but he completely misses his kick. Now Jorginho back towards Di Lorenzo, and Bastoni at walking pace inside the Albanian half. It's been a fairly soporific start to the second half here, with Albania just happy to contain and Italy trying to break them down, which was the story for so much of the first half.
I mean, look, they're going to be sat in this position for most of the group stage. Of course they are. You know, Croatia and Spain, even more so probably than Italy, have that control of the football. Rodri and Modric dictating for them. So they've just got to be really patient.
Now Barella on towards Scamacca again. He's the link man, looks to turn and thread the ball through to Fratesi, but this time he just squirts away from him and bobbles into the arms of Strakosha.
He's been good, Scamacca. Really good centre forward play. Just comes off his man on the half turn, looks round over his shoulder, sees Fratesi's run, tried to play it in with a reverse pass. He was a little unlucky.
Now Barami coming forward for Albania. You can hear the volume increase inside the stadium. Broja looking to hold off the challenge of Calafiori, and he's found Seferi, and then Broja's taken down off the ball there by Calafiori, and Felix Valle, the referee, will show him a yellow card. It was another cynical challenge. Broja has words for Calafiori, who is down himself injured on the edge of the penalty area. When he gets up, he'll receive a yellow card.
Yeah, Broja's just fed the ball out towards Seferi and then tried to make a darting run, and Calafiori has just got his arms all over Broja, and he knows what he's doing. He goes down holding his face like as if it was a foul on himself, but really Broja was away and he's just dragged him back. There's arms everywhere, and he does get caught slightly, but Broja's away.
Well, Broja did catch him with a flailing arm in the face, but Calafiori had already hauled him to the turf. But it's a free kick here for Albania in a decent area. Aslani and Barami are over it, and now Broja has also been booked as well.
Well, could it be because the players have been spoken to about speaking to the referees? It can only be the captain that is allowed to remonstrate with the officials, and maybe he's just overstepped the mark, or possibly it was because of the arm being thrown.
There was no doubt he was fouled, but there's also no doubt he did catch Calafiori in the face as well. 3 Italians in the wall. I think Aslani's going to hit this one. It's about 25 yards out, left of centre, and it will be the right foot of Christian Aslani. Curls it, but the wall leaps and it's blocked on the edge of the penalty area, and Bastoni has gone down clutching his head inside the penalty area, so of course play is stopped.
Yeah, it was struck viciously, wasn't it, from Aslani, from distance. Bastoni, Sladley had to take the full force of the strike. That's what you got to do, I'm afraid, when you're in the wall. Took it full in the forehead. Husai in the first half, that's what he should have done, really, with Barella's strike. Instead, he ducked out of the way, not with Bastoni.
Yeah, Barella hitting the ball with real power from outside the penalty area. And Husai, who was in front of Strakosha, so he was unsighting his goalkeeper, and then he ducked. Aslani just checking that Bastoni is okay. He will just be led across to this near side by the Italian medical team. And he has one of those rubberized bags of ice being applied to his forehead at the moment, and he does look a bit groggy.
I mean, look, he took the full force of it, and he just nodded his head down, so took it more just on the top of the head. Certainly be shaken.
Well, Albania had the ball, so there will be a drop ball, which is received by Ramadani. 53 minutes played on TalkSport. Italy leading by 2-1. And Albania enjoying some decent possession here. And they've not done that on too many occasions. Ramadani wide towards the far side. And Husai, he's got support, but instead they come in field towards Jim Siti and look to probe on the left with Mitan. And they're moving the ball a bit quicker now, Albania. Safedi, he's given the ball away to Chiesa, but Chiesa has given the ball straight back to him. Now Ramadani. We've seen more of the ball in the last 5 minutes than he did in the entirety of the first half.
Yeah, there's a bit more urgency, isn't there, from the Albanian players, and in particular those midfield players that couldn't get on the ball, starting to have an influence. The Italians, though, won't mind. They're happy to sit as well. It's part of their history to make it difficult.
Husai going back to Ramadani, who is actually deeper than the two central defenders, but he waves his fellow midfielders forward. Aslani short to Barami, who scored the goal. Now it's clipped over the top, looking for Broja, but that's the ball Albania will be looking to play. Broja there on the shoulder of Calafiori, knows he's quicker than him, knows he's on a yellow card, and if they can get that right, Albania could find a way back into the game.
Yeah, but it's the most difficult situation. Barami, it's that straight ball over the top that has to be absolutely perfect, or it just skips away to the goalkeeper. The idea was right, the execution not so much.
10 minutes into the second half. Italy 2, Albania 1 in Dortmund at Euro 2024 on TalkSport. Coming up tomorrow, England against Serbia from Gelsenkirchen at 8 o'clock. And there'll be build-up all day on the TalkSport network. Jeff Stelling will have Euro Game Day live from 4 o'clock. Adrian Durham and the team live from the stadium from 7 o'clock. And we have Poland against the Netherlands here on TalkSport from Group D at 2 o'clock. And Slovenia against Denmark at 5 will be live on TalkSport 2. Now Fratesi makes his way into the penalty area, and again he's denied by Strakosha, but the flag was raised for offside.
Yeah, pretty clear in the end, that offside. But once again, ball into Scamacca, round the corner for Fratesi. In the end it fell fortunately for DiMarco, who then helped it on towards Fratesi, who was just offside. DiMarco ending up in the centre forward position, really is given licence to go and play wherever he wants.
Now Scamacca deep again, and he's been the archetypal link man in the game for Italy so far, but he can't pick out Chiesa on this occasion, and it's smuggled back towards Strakosha. Albania will clear. Calafiori beating Broja in the air, but now Ramadani wide to Asani, who is able to keep the ball in play on the Albanian right, infield towards Ayeti. And Italy with 67% possession in the game overall, and I'm surprised it's so low.
Well, that's because of the second half. So far it was 70 plus in that first half, so already Albania having a different influence on the game, having more of the ball, looking to try and force things and force Italy back.
And Luciano Spalletti with his bald head gleaming under the floodlights. Really animated in the Italian technical area at the moment. I think he's looking for his team to maybe step things up again and rediscover the dominance they had for so much of the first half. Barella wide to the far side, and DiMarco.
Well, what they were so good at in that first half is the three in the end being centre-backs with Di Lorenzo as part of the three, and then one of Jorginho or Barella would sit there, so it would be a 3-1-1. So if it didn't go to the first midfielder, they'd then pop it to the second midfielder. It's just a really interesting way, and then allow Pellegrini and Barella, once they do get good possession into the forwards, then to push forwards.
Jorginho back to Calafiori. Almost gave the ball away to Asani in a dangerous area, but Italy quickly have it back. Barella, and Pellegrini goes all the way back to the halfway line, and Bastoni. And there must be upwards of 50,000 Albanian supporters inside the stadium, but they are rather quiet at the moment because at times their team is being given a lesson in possession football as Bastoni plays the high ball over the top, looking for DiMarco, who tried to make the run in behind Husai, who did well to recover and glance a header out on the far side for a throw into Italy.
Yeah, says absolutely everything about the way this Italian side is set up, that Bastoni looks to play that long raking ball over the top for his left back DiMarco to be running in behind.
Now it's flighted wide towards this near side again, and Chiesa, who tries to skip infield beyond Mitai, who recovers well, but now he's given the ball away inside the penalty area, almost catches Scamacca. It's back towards Chiesa, who tries a left-footed curler, which was inches wide from being a spectacular goal.
Well, it was the first bit of really good defending actually from Mitai against Chiesa, who tried to swivel in towards the penalty area. He defended really well, but then Chiesa's mate Scamacca came across to win the ball back, fed it back into Chiesa, who let it run across his body and then tried to whip it into that far corner, inches away, just didn't quite have the curl to get it inside the post.
I think Scamacca did Albania a favour there by staying on his feet. Had he gone down, there may have been a case for a penalty.
Yeah, definitely. He wants his goal though.
And now Broja, who's cutting, a frustrated figure, leading the Albanian line. Of course, he missed out on all those great nights in Tirana during the qualification due to injury, and it's been hard going for him at times here tonight. And Italy have not conceded more than one goal in a game in their last 12 matches at the European Championships, only 6 in their previous 12 games. They were absolutely watertight when they won the trophy 3 years ago.
Stingy, to say the least. But while it's still only one goal, that's what you've got to cling on to if you're an Albanian fan, or if you're Broja. You've got to just think all it's going to take is one moment, one breakaway to get yourself and become a hero, get yourselves level.
An hour played, Italy 2, Albania 1. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport, presented by Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. As Albania try and build again, they almost give the ball away to DiMarco, who was forward, but here is Safari now on the far side, but he's been rather lightweight at times. Chiesa almost gets away from him, but now Ramadani has it for Albania. Back to Barami. And now Safari again. And Albania look for that switch wide towards Asani, who is the more direct and possibly more dangerous player for Albania on their right-hand side. But again, Italy shut the door. So Albania have to try again, but they have been more of a force compared to what we saw for so much of the first half, when they were hanging on grimly to remain in the game. Now Hussein finding Broja.
Well, you mentioned Aslani before the game, and he's starting to have an influence that we expected him that he could have had, and was just blocked out in that first half. He's starting to get hold of the ball, find a few angles to to play. It's just helping Albania have a bit more control and possession without really looking like they're going to create anything as yet.
Not quite the numbers inside this stadium tonight than Dortmund have for league games due to the all-seater. As Fratesi comes forward now, looks to pick out the runner Barella, but it's back towards Chiesa on the edge of the penalty area. Pellegrini now, right-hand side for Italy. Poke back to Di Lorenzo. And now Jorginho again. 4 Italians waiting on the edge of the penalty area, but Barella may have to try a different route. Bastoni back towards Jorginho. You can hear the whistles from the Albanian supporters. Chiesa wide on the right hand side, back towards Di Lorenzo, and Di Lorenzo continues his run into the penalty area, but it was tracked well by Aslani. It's back to Strakosha, and he clears downfield. Calafiori off balance, though manages to win the header above Broja, and he has the ball again on the halfway line for Italy.
Well, when you're a centre forward all on your own up there, as Broja is, and that ball's played up, it's so difficult, because the first defender can be ultra aggressive, try to win the ball. All he needs to do is get a touch on it and he goes to the other defender. Such a thankless task up there.
Now Chiesa down the Italian right once again, coming in field onto that left foot, back to Barella, lofted wide for Fratesi, who tries to hook the ball towards goal from a very tight angle. It balloons onto the roof of the netting, and it will be a goal kick for Albania.
Another impressive performance from Fratesi. Still relatively new to this Italian side, 16th cap this evening, but you can see why he's had such an influence and why Spalletti wants to start him. Out of possession, brilliant.
Now Seferi looks to play it forward to Asani for Albania. A glimpse of an opportunity, but Asani miscontrols, and it's gobbled up by Calafiori. 64 minutes played, Italy leading 2-1. They've got very good memories of this stadium. They beat Germany here in the semi-finals 2-0 back in the 2006 World Cup, when they went on to win the trophy. And the last time the European Championships were in Germany, they also got to the semi-finals in 1988 before losing to the Soviet Union. And that was the generation of Roberto Mancini and Gianluca Vialli, who of course were the management team for Italy when they won the European Championships, and they both scored here in 1988 as Italy try to up the pace again, but it's gathered by Ramadani on the edge of his own penalty area. Strakosha just hammers it forward, but it's a ball which gives Broja no chance of doing anything with it.
Yeah, I just wonder if they could do a little bit more, Strakosha, even if it's clipping it wide, you know, just rather than whacking it forwards.
Now Scamacca on the edge of the penalty area, tries to link up with Pellegrini. It's wide to the right, and Chiesa again. Chiesa hammers the ball into the body of Mitai, and it will be an Italian corner. And there's no doubt here Italy are playing like a side who know they need another goal.
Yeah, you're right. I think they've had 5 or 10 minutes where Albania have gained a bit more control and gained a bit of confidence, and they've gone, "Nah, we've got to get ourselves back to the levels that we were in the first half," and they have stepped it up themselves.
Italy attacking, a huge sea of Albanian red shirts at the north end of the Westfalen Stadion. The last time Albania played here in 1981, West Germany beat them 8-0. Different story here tonight, very different aspirations now. The corner's played short, the high ball to the far post was met by Giovanni Di Lorenzo, and it was deflected over the top for another corner.
Unforgivable from an Albanian point of view, that. Identical corner, played short, then fed into the back post. Di Lorenzo's completely free, as Bastoni was. Luckily, Husai was there, and it just flicked off the back of his head. Otherwise, that might have just fallen into the far corner. That's just really, really poor organisation from the Albanians.
Corner kick for Italy on the far side, which Federico Di Marco will take. And Felix Vaya just sorting out some pushing and pulling inside the penalty area. And it's an outswinger in towards the near post and hammered clear by Ramadani. Of course, Italy no longer have Chiellini and Bonucci, but they still have players who know how to handle themselves in both penalty areas. And it's interesting, we have, of course, a new look central defensive partnership here tonight, Calafiori and Bastoni, and they've both been very impressive. Here is Asani though for Albania, down their right hand side, and he's clipped by Barella, and it will be a free kick midway inside the Italian half.
Oh, we just haven't seen enough, have we, of Asani and Seferi. They're good players, they've got pace, they've got quick feet, they just haven't had enough of the ball.
And Asani's coming off, and he'll be replaced by Arba Hodja, who plays for Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia, only his 5th appearance. And Silvino looks to freshen up his attacking options in the wide areas, and it's Seferi who is the other player to go off, and he will be replaced by a player who performed very well in the qualifiers, Krasim Laci. Won the Czech title this season with Sparta Prague.
I'm not particularly surprised with that. I don't think they've gone into the game enough.
Free kick high into the penalty area, nodded clear by Bastoni, with Jim Citi coming in at the far post at some pace. Now Hodja, first opportunity for him to attack down the left, and he looks to drive in the cross, which deflects behind off Fratesi, and it's an Albanian corner, and their fans on the wall and in the wall find their voices.
Yeah, good, positive play. Hodja literally just come on, driving past Fratesi, winning a corner. That's all it's going to take. It could be a set play.
Barami with the corner, high to the far post, fisted clear by Donnarumma, volleyed back through the crowd by Aslani, but he never got hold of it. He scored some spectacular goals from long range in qualification, but not here when it really matters.
Oh, he's gutted, because it fell nicely actually. Donnarumma's punch just floated to the edge of the area for Aslani to hit with his left foot, and just came right over the top of it, hit the top of the ball, it bounced viciously wide, never got hold of it.
Calafiori is Italy, play out deep from the back. Now Jorginho finding DeMarco, and of course there will be a point in the game with just over 20 minutes left on TalkSport that Albania will have to commit more bodies forward, and so Italy will get those opportunities on the counter-attack. Now Di Lorenzo on this near side. And Spalletti's trust with his club, and that's now been transferred to his country more substantially than perhaps it was before. Di Lorenzo back to Bastoni, and Calafiori, who looks like the sort of player who's been featuring at international level for years. He only made his debut 2 weeks ago.
He looks class, doesn't he? Not only has he got that lovely left foot and stepping in to play, because he has played fullback as well as Calafiori, but can slide in as a centre-back or wide centre-back, and then you can see the quality he has on the ball. But also I've been impressed with his aggression, you know, winning headers against Broja, being tight and aggressive. You still want to see that from your centre-backs.
Barella has support wide on the far side from DeMarco, but it's infield to Jorginho, and now Bastoni again fighting for Tracy, who tries to put it through towards Scamacca, but it's quickly cut out, and now an opportunity at the other end for Barami, but Bastoni recovers and balloons a back pass towards Donnarumma.
And that's still what it feels like. It still feels like a panic counter-attack, doesn't it? Rather than one that's in control and that they can really take advantage of. It's still, the quality's not quite been there for Albania when they've had the chance to break, and when Italy have maybe been exposed with just a couple of defenders back there.
And Chiesa has been hauled down by Mitai on this near side, but the referee, I thought, was going to give a free kick, but he's allowed play to continue. Aslani with a high ball over the top, Broja in pursuit, but it's gathered by Donnarumma.
Again, Broja was free. He keeps making those runs. If the pass was better, if the pass was right at him, he would have a chance to be in behind. The quality's just not been there.
Now DeMarco has support from Pellegrini further wide down the left-hand side, but it's infield to Jorginho. 72 minutes played on TalkSport, Euro Game Day Live. Italy 2, Albania 1. Italy inching towards a victory in their first match as defending champions, having conceded the quickest ever goal in a European Championships after 23 seconds, but they quickly dusted themselves down and were ahead by the 16th minute. Chiesa underneath a high ball from Jorginho, but it's won by Mitai on this near side, and Hodja has been fouled by Fratesi, and it will be a free kick. You're listening to Euro Game Day Live on TalkSport, presented by Burger King. Bring home the ultimate food satisfaction. Get your favourites delivered now.
Well, it's getting towards that period, isn't it, where Albania have to make a decision. They're still leaving Broja up there, very much isolated on his own. They've obviously changed the wide players. When does the time come to really start to throw? Certainly Barami more forwards, closer to Broja. One of the other midfielders maybe. Fullbacks getting forwards a little bit more. And will Italy start to regress and start to fall back and hang on to this? I think they should have taken one of those chances to give them that cushion.
It's a tricky one for Albania because there are no easy games in this group, and there'll be a free kick given here because Hodja barges into the back of Fratesi. May well be a yellow card for the player who has just come on, and that is the case, flourished by Felix Raya. They've got Croatia and then they've got Spain. At the moment they are in this game, and in terms of their goal difference, they haven't done what, say, Scotland did last night and get absolutely hammered, and even if Scotland do subsequently win a game, their goal difference could mean they've got no chance of going through. Of course we hope they get 6 points in their next 2 games, but Albania are playing the sort of game here where they're just keeping themselves alive even in defeat.
But that has been their style. You know, even in the tough games they've tried to be defensively solid, but then look to break. That hasn't particularly changed. But to take a point from this would mean so much, would really throw things up in the group going into that Croatian game. And I just think, you know, you only get these opportunities once, possibly, to do something special.
Well, Bastoni has caught Broja inside the centre circle. It was just an elbow into the top of the back there as both players were in mid-air, so it will be a free kick for Albania, and Broja, I think, believes he has been the subject of some treatment.
Oh yeah,
and he's going off now anyway.
Lovely these ones are from the centre backs, just come in as if they're trying to win the header. They don't. You go to chest control it, they barge you in the back, the ball hits you straight in the mush, and just a free kick's given. It's just classic.
And Ray Manai is coming on to replace Armando Broja, who hobbles off and rubs at his nose just to check if there's any blood. And Manai, who did have a spell with Watford, also featured for Inter earlier in his career, now plays for Sivasspor in Turkey, scored his first goal for 3 years against Azerbaijan in one of the warm-up games in Hungary. And he will lead the attack now for the final 14 minutes here, with Albania still trailing by 2 goals to 1.
I think he's looked sharp, Broja, considering fit for the tournament, and he's given really good energy. I think he looks like he could have got in behind plenty of times if the ball had been better.
And now Chiesa is going off for Italy along with Pellegrini. And the first 2 changes made by Spalletti, and Andrea Cambiasso of Juventus is the first player to come on for Italy. Only his 5th cap. Is one of the relative newcomers. And Brian Cristante also replaces Pellegrini, the Roma midfielder. Do you know why he's called Brian?
No idea.
His dad was a massive fan of Brian Ferry.
Brilliant.
True story. At least I hope it is. 13 minutes to play. Italy 2, Albania 1. It is Brian spelt with a Y, which suggests it could be. And Albania have restricted Italy to very few clear-cut opportunities in the second half. All the goals in the opening 16 minutes. An incredible start to this game. Now Lacci coming forward for Albania down their right. He was caught, but Hussein will come forward. 2 red shirts wait inside the penalty area. The cross from Hussein there was blocked by Calafiori, and Calafiori now receives it back deep inside the penalty area. Manai will try and close him down, but Calafiori looks to be a class act, and he plays the ball out with a good deal of composure. And now DiMarco coming forward for Italy on the far side. 12 minutes to play. Italy 2, Albania 1. Fratesi with a break into the penalty area. Aslani will try and force him wide. And it's credit to Albania in many ways that this game is still in the balance, because Italy should be out of sight. Now Barella.
And that's what they would have been looking at. Are we still in the game coming towards the last 10 minutes? Albania. And they certainly are. And we haven't seen it enough. Big strength of theirs is the 2 fullbacks, Hussein and Mitai, getting forwards and allowing the wide players to go and join the centre forward. They haven't been given that luxury, to be honest, because they've had to defend so much. But can they just create a bit more of that overload out wide in the last 10 or so minutes?
Now DiMarco out muscling the challenge of Lacci as he comes forward now. Fires in the shot, and Strakosha gathers 2 hands above his head.
Well, he's not going to let up, is he, DiMarco? Again, driving forwards like a winger, just pushing it down the side, using his pace, and we know he can strike the ball with that left foot, and it was brilliantly struck but handled well.
In the cricket, in the World T20, England playing for survival against Namibia. The game was delayed for 3 hours due to rain. It's now 11 overs aside, and England are 82 for 3 in the 8th over. Now an opportunity for Minai inside the penalty area for Albania. Another long ball forward, but Bastoni just comes across. He was holding his shirt inside the penalty area. Bastoni guides it back towards Pellegrini, Donnarumma, but well, there was a shirt pull there inside the area. But the question is, what was Minai doing to Bastoni?
That's really difficult, because I want to say it's good defense. Yes, he's got hold of his shirt, but also he's got his elbow tucked in towards Manai's chest to make sure that he's just not going to get across him. Again, I just think it's aggressive, I'm going to win it, you're not getting past me type of defending, and in the end he was too strong. Slight help with the shirt, of course, but that tends to be part of it rather than just a genuine hit, big shirt pull.
Inside the final 10 minutes, we have a big night of boxing coming up from Selhurst Park from 10 o'clock here on TalkSport. The undercard is currently underway on TalkSport 2 as Italy come forward now with Cambiasso, who has replaced Chiesa down the right hand side. It's quickly cut out, but then played back over the top by Jorginho. But Hodger will try and clear the ball for Albania, but Italy are still full of running here as Mitai plays it forward, but Cristante will gather for Italy. And they are looking to finish things off here.
Yeah, and he can be more of a defensive midfield player, Cristante, and can just sit in alongside Jorginho and even let Jorginho go a little bit more forwards to link the play. But just a bit more reassurance in the middle there with Cristante coming on.
And Di Lorenzo, and it's hammered forward up towards the halfway line, but into the body of Ramadani, who really felt that. But it will be a throw into Italy on this near side as They make another change, another two changes. Scamacca comes off and he's replaced by Matteo Retegui, the Argentinian-born player who has 4 goals in 8 appearances. DiMarco also makes way, and he's replaced by the former Manchester United player Matteo Darmian, yet another Inter player on the field for Italy.
Again, I think it's more about freshening than necessarily going for that third goal for Spalletti.
Retegui made his debut against England in the opening qualifier, which England won 2-1 in Naples, and it really highlighted the lack of attacking options that Italy had following the failure to qualify for the World Cup, that they had to basically go and find a player who was born in Argentina and was playing for Boca Juniors at the time, but he's now in Serie A with Genoa. 7.5 minutes to play. Italy 2, Albania 1 on TalkSport, with England against Serbia coming up tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Jeff Stelling with all the build-up from 4. As Frattesi comes forward now down the Italian right. The cross into the penalty area is cleared as far as Cambiasso. Now Jorginho finding DiMarco, and it's back to Cristante and Calafiori, who was a contender for player of the match. Forward again for Italy. Wide to Darmian. It may not be as dynamic going forward as DiMarco has been, but Italy maintaining possession here and looking just to squeeze the remaining life out of this Albanian performance.
Yeah, be happy with what they've got. Don't allow Albania to have any head of steam towards the end of the game. And you can see that with the substitutions. Cristante, defensive midfielder. Darmian, more of a defensive-minded fullback rather than DiMarco, who's still getting forwards like a centre forward at times.
Now Cristante has been caught and fouled, and it will be a free kick for Italy just inside the Albanian half, and it was the retreating Mitai who just bowled him over. And Albania have had 1 shot on target in the 23rd second.
Yeah, they've struggled. They've definitely struggled, but I would give so much of the credit to the Italians. I think the control they've had of the football, and also when Albania have then had the ball, their pressing out of it has impressed me. What Spalletti's been able to do so far with this team to be very, very useful out of possession. Hence why Frattesi, I think he's starting. He's been a big reason why they've been so good at winning the ball back.
5 minutes to play. Italy still leading 2-1. Can Albania prize another clear-cut chance from this game? Looking to move it forward now with Jimsiti. But Italy here played such a canny game, and when Albania do have it, they're quick to press. But now Hodja speeds away from Di Lorenzo on this near side. Bastoni comes across. Hodja looks to hit the byline. And again, Bastoni was pulling the shirt of the Albanian player, but he runs out of room on this near side, and it will be a throw-in.
Good work though, wasn't it, from Hodja? Really positive since he's come on. Good strength and pace. But, again, it's not only Bastoni, it's Cristante, it's Di Lorenzo. They all gang up in the end and do that defensive work. They don't give you anything, these Italians.
And the goal scorer, Nedim Barami, is coming off. He created history here tonight with the quickest ever goal in the European Championships, and Ernest Mucci of Besiktas will replace him.
Some moment, wasn't it, from Barami? A real light of the tournament so far.
Well, from a neutral point of view, it is really good that the 50,000 or so Albanian supporters did have their moment here tonight, even though they may ultimately be on the losing side, but maybe not. It's still only 2-1 with 3 minutes to play, and now they're looking to push forward in greater numbers. Mitai back to Jim Seaton. And now Aslani. And Italy are in retreat themselves. We've not seen that happen on too many occasions, but it's given away on the far side by Lacci, and now Italy can look to spring the counter-attack themselves. Cambiasso away from the challenge of Mitai. The red shirts quickly swarm around him in the centre circle, but Barella, who has had such a good game, looks like being the match winner, but he offers so much more than that. Now Cristante finding Jorginho and Calafiori again, and it's Italy here with 2.5 minutes of normal time to play on TalkSport, just looking to take the sting out of the game, but then Calafiori almost gives the ball away, and in the end a hurried Jorginho has to go back to Donnarumma.
Yeah, they're trying, aren't they, Albania, just to put the pressure, but if you're going to do that, you have to push up. There's still the gap between the defensive line and the forward line is still too big. To really pressurise this Italian team, you have to you have to take that chance and leave the big space in behind your defence, but squeeze in towards the Italian half, and they still haven't done that.
Next for Albania, Croatia in Hamburg, and then Spain in Dusseldorf. And Italy, of course, still have big games to come, and they've given the ball away themselves now as it's played wide by Mucci towards the right-hand side. Spain and Gelsenkirchen on Thursday, and then Croatia in Leipzig is the calendar for Italy in the remainder of the group stage. But they still have some work to do here as we head towards the 90th minute. Albania looking to build on the far side with Mucci. Back in field towards Ayeti. And Aslani pirouettes on the ball a couple of times, looking for space, looking for the option, but there are a number of very tired players out there in dark red shirts.
And it's not their style. Their style isn't to just lump it forwards, and their style isn't really to when it's wide, to just get it in the box. Their style really is to overload and then try and work it to their wide players who are tucked in, or the midfield players who are running on. So they're just trying to work it the best they can up the pitch and try and break their way through this Italian defensive unit.
Ramadani with the high ball forward, looking for Mitai, who controls inside the area, plays it across the face of goal, and it's deflected behind, and that was the Albanian chance in the 90th minute. Manai finding space inside the area, managing to work the ball over the body of Donnarumma, but there was no one there to finish it off.
And he celebrates, Donnarumma, because he makes a really good save. He's out of his goal so sharply, and it just kisses off the side of his ribs. Otherwise that's heading in, and he knows it. It was a brilliant takedown from Manai. Brilliant ball over the top. Calafiori for the first time just lost his bearings. Great chest down, just tried to lift it over Donnarumma, but there he was, the Italian captain, to make a massive save.
Exasperation for Silvino. Into 4 added minutes, a high ball forward again, looking for Manai, but it's overhit this time, and in exaggerated fashion Donnarumma gathers and then falls to the turf, and that is the risk when you only lead 2-1.
Yeah, it is. And when you're the opposition, that's the chance. That's the one chance you're hoping to get towards the end of the game. Manai has come on and got the opportunity, and it's just a really, really good save from Donnarumma.
Now there is a pitch invader who is running around the playing surface, so play will be halted here. There's a smile on the face of Donnarumma, and Felix Valle, the referee, just takes the ball off him, and well, Donnarumma right at the very end has had to make a save. Manai did superbly well to bring the high ball down on his chest, but as Dean Ashton said, it was the ribs of Donnarumma which kept Italy ahead in this game.
And look, you know, we'll see saves where goalkeepers are spreading themselves and fingertip round the corner, but they're just as important, those saves, from a goalkeeper's point of view. Ball over the top, the anticipation from Donnarumma. You have to get out quickly to narrow that angle, and you're just trying to get something on it. It's not about necessarily a big hand or an arm, it's just something to deflect the ball. It was really good goalkeeping from Donnarumma.
Barella heads off and he's replaced by Michael Folorunsho of Verona. Only his second appearance. He made his debut against Bosnia and Herzegovina in the final warm-up game. And he has come on now to just help Italy see this game out. And they've made heavy weight-a-robots in the end in the closing stages. Calafiore just hammers it long, looking for Retegui. It drops to Folorunsho, and then he has been fouled by Ramadani, and it's an Italian free kick, and they're just looking to run down the clock.
It's just trying to work really hard, but also not just give those free kicks away, because it just saps the momentum that you can have, allows the opposition just to slow everything down again.
Spalletti just talking to the fourth official, Daniel Siebert, to, I think, clarify how much added time will be added on due to the pitch invader, and I think Siebert was saying there will be an added minute, so 2 minutes of added time left in this game for Albania to find an equaliser, which they'll be talking about for years.
But you can certainly see there's moments, there's positives of why people would have expected Albania to be so competitive still in this tough group.
Oh, they're still alive. They're 2-1 down in their first game. And Cambiasso for Italy, and he was caught by Aslani. And Italy taking the opportunity to feel the contact at the moment and go down at every opportunity to break up the game. But that's game management.
That is. I think that's, you know, when it's your nation, that's what you want to see. And when it's not, it's so frustrating. High
forward towards Retegui, but won well by Jim Siti in the air. Albania have got to get the ball forward quickly here. Mitai on this near side, the left. Over the top, looking for Manai. He then goes down, but I think he was looking for it as he crumpled under the challenge of Di Lorenzo, and Felix Vaia tells him to get up. Mitai now heads it forward for Albania. Back to Aslani. We're in the 5th minute of added time. Closing seconds of the game here for Albania to try and rescue a point. Jim Siti finding Aslani. He has to get the ball forward here quickly, and he does. And there may be one final chance here. Lazzi with the crossing over the head of Minai, but it comes to Hodja at the far post. Back to Minai, and the cross comes shot, swirls high over the top, and that's surely Albania's last chance.
Ah, what a waste that was. Hodja just lays it back to Mitai, and all he needs to do is just help it into the area or strike it low and hope that it takes a deflection, and he just hopelessly flops it over the top of the crossbar.
Jorginho is down with cramp, but that's it. It's a winning start for Italy. A goal down in 23 seconds. They have come back to see off the challenge of a brave Albania. And despite all of their problems in the build-up, Italy have 3 points on the board in their opening game at Euro 2024. Albania gave it a go, but Italy were far too good in the end, better than the narrow scoreline. And although Albania had their moment right at the start, it's a comprehensive victory for the Italians despite the scoreline. It is finished. Italy 2, Albania 1.